Let's talk about a moment that you've almost certainly lived through. You're just going about your day, maybe in a coffee shop, browsing a bookstore, or walking down the street. And it happens. A younger woman, maybe in her 20s or early 30s, catches your eye. And she gives you a smile. A real, warm smile. For a split second, there's a flicker of something. But then, that logical part of your brain kicks in. The part conditioned by years of social rules. And it tells you a story. A simple, safe, and completely dismissive story. She's just being polite. It's friendly. It means nothing. She probably smiles at everyone. And just like that, the moment's gone. You file it away under meaningless niceties and move on, never giving it another thought. You brush it off because, as an older, experienced man, you think you know how the world works. You've learned not to read into things. But what if, in some of these cases, that logical voice is missing the point? What if, by dismissing that smile, you're not being wise, you're just being blind to a subtle form of communication happening right under your nose? Now, before you think this is some fantasy, let's ground ourselves in reality. Most relationships form between people who are close in age. Studies consistently show the average age gap in heterosexual couples is only about 2 to 3 years. So no, we are not suggesting every smile is a secret invitation. Social politeness is real, and many smiles are exactly what you think they are. Simple, kind gestures. But, and this is the key distinction many men miss, some of them aren't. A smile can be a subconscious or even conscious nod to something she sees in you. Something that men her own age, the guys she's used to, often don't have. That smile can be a signal of admiration, a flash of recognition for qualities you radiate without even trying. In this video, we're going to unpack that smile. We're moving past the easy explanation of politeness to explore the psychology of what might really be going on. We'll look at the powerful, often invisible traits that older men possess that can be incredibly attractive. And most importantly, we'll talk about how to spot the difference between a polite gesture and a genuine signal, and how to respond in a way that's confident, authentic, and respectful. This isn't about learning lines or playing games. This is about understanding the inherent advantages of your age and experience. It's about learning to see yourself through a different lens, so that the next time you get that smile, you don't just dismiss it, you understand it. So, what's the first thing she might be noticing? It often comes down to a very specific type of confidence. It's not the loud, peacocking, look-at-me confidence you see from younger guys trying to prove they're the alpha in the room. It's something far more subtle and much more powerful. It's quiet confidence. Quiet confidence is the calm assurance that comes from a man who is simply comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't need to be the center of attention. He isn't dominating the conversation or desperately seeking validation, because he's already validated himself. This is a man who has faced challenges, weathered storms, and come out the other side knowing who he is. His self-worth isn't tied to his last promotion, his social media, or what his friends think. It's built from a lifetime of experiences, successes, and more importantly, failures. Younger women, especially perceptive ones, are often surrounded by the opposite. Their dating pool is frequently filled with young men still figuring themselves out. Their confidence can be brittle and performative, needing to be constantly fed with praise. They might boast about their job, their workouts, or their social life, all to project an image of value. They are, in a sense, still auditioning for the role of a confident man. An older man with quiet confidence isn't auditioning. He's had the part for years. Picture a busy bar or a party. You might see a group of younger guys talking loudly, trying to out-banter each other, their eyes scanning the room. Their energy is frantic, scattered. Now, picture an older man in that same room. He might be standing alone or with a friend, just observing the scene with a relaxed posture. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's just there, enjoying his drink, the music, the conversation he's in. His energy is calm, centered, and self-contained. To a perceptive woman, who is constantly bombarded by the anxious energy of men trying to prove themselves, that island of calm is magnetic. It signals safety, stability, and a total lack of neediness. A needy man is draining. A man with quiet confidence is energizing. His presence says, "I'm good with me, so you can just be you around me." That smile in this context is a signal of recognition. It's her subconscious saying, I see that, that's different, I like that. She's noticing your presence precisely because you aren't desperately trying to be noticed. Think about how you enter a room. Do you feel a pressure to perform? Do you plan what you'll say to sound interesting? Or do you walk in with the simple intention of just being there, comfortable with who you are, whether anyone talks to you or not? Cultivating that inner self-acceptance is the foundation of this magnetic, quiet confidence. It isn't about faking it. It's about reaching a point where you genuinely don't need the world to tell you you're enough. And when you get there, the world starts to notice. The second major factor that might inspire that smile is the sense of stability many older men project. Now, when we say stability, people often think of money. And while financial health is part of it, it's a small piece of a much bigger, more attractive picture. We're talking about emotional, mental, and logistical stability. It's the feeling that you are a rock in a world of shifting sands. Think about life in your early 20s. It's a time defined by change and uncertainty. You're navigating the end of school, the start of a career, maybe moving between cities and social circles. Your own identity is in flux. Life is a whirlwind of questions. Who am I? Where am I going? What do I really want? That period, while exciting, can also be deeply unsettling. Contrast that with the life of a more established man. He's likely been through that phase. He's probably settled in his career, has a home, has routines. He has a much clearer sense of his values. His life isn't a series of frantic sprints, it's a steady marathon. This doesn't mean his life is boring, but it does mean he has a foundation. He has roots. This stability is incredibly appealing because it taps into a deep human need for safety. A woman interacting with an emotionally stable man feels a sense of calm. She senses he won't be easily rattled by minor setbacks or prone to dramatic emotional swings. He offers predictability and reliability in a world that often feels chaotic. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine a couple at the airport and their flight gets canceled. A younger, less experienced guy might react with instant frustration, getting angry, pacing, complaining loudly about the airline. His reaction injects stress and anxiety into the situation. The problem becomes a drama. An older, more stable man is more likely to react differently. He might take a deep breath, accept the reality, and immediately pivot to problem solving. Okay, that's a pain, he might say calmly. Let's see what the next flight out is. I'll look for a hotel just in case. We'll figure it out. He doesn't waste energy on useless anger. He manages the situation, and by doing so, he manages the emotional climate for both of them. He turns a crisis into a puzzle. This is emotional stability in action. It's the ability to absorb a shock without crumbling. For a younger woman who may be used to the emotional ups and downs of men her own age, this quality isn't just attractive, it's a profound relief. It feels safe. That smile she gives you could be a recognition of this very quality. She might see it in your calm demeanor or the patient way you interact with a server. She's picking up on nonverbal cues that signal you are a man who has his life and himself under control. You are a safe harbor. And in the stormy sea of modern life, a safe harbor is a very desirable destination. The third magnet that might be drawing that smile your way is the simple allure of your lived experience. In a world obsessed with youth, it's easy to forget that a life fully lived is a huge asset. Your history, your stories, your perspective, these aren't just things you have, they are who you are. And they can be incredibly fascinating. A younger person's world is, by definition, smaller. Their experiences are often confined to school, first jobs, and the social dynamics inside those bubbles. Their worldview is still being formed, shaped by what they've learned in class, from peers and online. An older man, on the other hand, is a living library. You haven't just read the books, you've lived the chapters. You've seen political and cultural tides change. You've seen technologies rise and fall. You've traveled. You've had friendships that lasted decades. You've navigated complex career moves. You've likely known profound love and profound loss. Your perspective isn't theoretical, it's forged in the real world. This makes for a much more interesting conversationalist. An intellectually curious younger woman will often find conversations with older men far more enriching than those with her peers. A talk about success with a 25-year-old might be about a promotion or a startup idea. A talk about success with a 55-year-old could involve stories of building a business, recovering from failure, mentoring others, and realizing success is more about fulfillment than money. The second one is just a richer story. Now, this isn't about being a braggart who starts every sentence with "back in my day." It's not about lecturing. The attraction comes from the wisdom that's woven into your natural conversation. It's the ability to offer a unique perspective, to connect current events to historical patterns, to tell a story that's not just entertaining but also illuminating. For example, imagine a group discussing a current event. A younger person might have strong, passionate opinions based on what they've read. An older man might be able to add another layer. That's interesting because I remember in the 90s, a similar situation unfolded, and here's what happened then. He's not invalidating their opinion. He's adding depth. He's expanding the conversation. This taps into the mentor archetype, which can be very appealing. People are drawn to those who can help them grow. A man with a wealth of experience can offer new ways of looking at the world and provide valuable advice. The relationship, whether it's a friendship or more, becomes a source of enrichment. So when she smiles, she might be intrigued by the story she imagines you hold. She sees the lines around your eyes and doesn't just see age. She sees a map of a life filled with interesting journeys. She's curious about the world you've seen. That smile can be an invitation, a sign she's open to hearing a chapter or two from your library. All right, let's pause here for a second. We're getting into the real psychology of attraction and perception. And if this is starting to shift your perspective on your own age and experience, then I want you to become part of this community. Take a moment to hit subscribe and ring the notification bell. We release videos like this every week, all designed to give mature men the insights you need to navigate the modern world with confidence. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Which of these points so far, quiet confidence, stability, or lived experience, resonates with you the most? Your stories are valuable to everyone here. All right, let's get back to it. The fourth reason that smile may come your way is because you project authenticity. Many older men have reached a stage where they are, for lack of a better term, post-game. They're no longer playing the intricate, often exhausting games that define so much of modern dating. This sincere, what you see is what you get attitude is a breath of fresh air. A younger woman's dating world can be a minefield of agendas. She's likely met men who use calculated lines, follow pickup artist formulas, or play hot and cold to create artificial drama. There's a constant need to decipher intent. Is he being genuine, or is this a tactic? Does he actually like me, or is he just trying to score points? It's emotionally taxing. An older man who is secure and content has often outgrown the need for these games. He's not trying to win the interaction. He's not driven by the ego boost of getting the girl. His motives are usually more straightforward. If he's interested, he's interested. If not, he's not. There's a refreshing directness. While manipulative people exist at all ages, maturity often weeds out these behaviors. Think about giving a compliment. A younger guy playing a game might offer a backhanded one like, "I don't usually like that style," but you pull it off. The goal is to destabilize her and make her seek his approval. An older, authentic man is more likely to be direct. He might just say, "That's a beautiful dress," or "You have a fantastic laugh." The compliment is given freely, without expecting anything in return. It's an observation, not a transaction. He's not trying to get something. He's simply expressing something. This lack of a hidden agenda is disarming and attractive. It creates trust. A woman can relax in his presence, knowing his words likely match his intentions. She doesn't have to have her guard up, trying to figure out his angle. This allows a genuine connection to form, based on real personalities, not constructed ones. This post-game mindset also shows in how he handles rejection. A younger man whose ego is on the line might get angry or petulant if turned down. An older man is more likely to have the perspective to accept it gracefully. He understands that not everyone will connect. He can say, "Okay, it was a pleasure meeting you," and move on without drama, because his self-worth wasn't tied to the outcome. That smile she offers could be a sign that she senses this authenticity. Perhaps she's tired of the ambiguity of the dating scene, and your straightforward, calm presence is a welcome contrast. She sees a man who is not a player, but a person. In a world full of filters and facades, that kind of authenticity is rare. Flowing directly from authenticity is emotional maturity. This is more than just being calm. It is the developed skill of understanding your own emotions while also having empathy for others. For many women looking for a real partner, emotional maturity isn't just on the checklist, it is the checklist. Emotional immaturity in men often shows up as selfishness, poor impulse control, and a tendency to get defensive or blame others during conflict. A woman dating an emotionally immature man often feels like she's playing the role of a mother or a therapist. She has to manage his feelings, coax him into communicating, and navigate his reactions. It's exhausting. She's looking for a partner, not a project. An emotionally mature older man offers the opposite. His maturity shows up in key ways. First, he's a better listener. He's learned that he doesn't have all the answers. When she's talking, he's not just waiting for his turn to speak. He's trying to understand. He asks good questions. He can hear about her problems without immediately trying to fix them, knowing that sometimes an empathetic ear is the most valuable thing he can offer. Second, he's less reactive. He doesn't fly off the handle over small things. He has the perspective to know what really matters. He can have a difficult conversation without raising his voice or making personal attacks. He can disagree with respect. This creates a profound sense of safety and makes true intimacy possible. Third, he takes responsibility. When he makes a mistake, he owns it. He apologizes and tries to make it right. He doesn't make excuses or shift blame. This accountability is the bedrock of trust. This maturity naturally extends into all areas of a relationship, including physical intimacy. To be clear, the point isn't that older men are universally better lovers. It's that their emotional maturity often makes them more attentive lovers. The same qualities of listening, empathy, and a lack of ego-driven anxiety translate directly into the bedroom. A mature man is often less focused on his own performance and more focused on mutual pleasure and connection. He pays attention. The focus shifts from a physical act to an emotional expression. A man who listens to her in the living room is far more likely to listen to her in the bedroom. When a younger woman smiles at you, she may be picking up on cues of this maturity. She might see it in the respectful way you talk to a cashier or the thoughtful way you listen to a friend. She's recognizing the potential for a deeper, more satisfying connection than what she may be used to. That smile is an acknowledgement of the man, not just the male. Now, let's talk about a more interactive reason for that smile. Sometimes, it isn't just a passive signal of admiration, it's a subtle social test. It's a way for her to gather information. She's putting out a feeler to see how you'll react. Your response tells her a great deal and either confirms or denies the positive impression that led to the smile. Think of it from her perspective. She notices you. Something has caught her eye, your quiet confidence, your style, that sense of stability. She feels a flicker of curiosity, but approaching a stranger, especially an older man, can be intimidating. So she runs a low-risk experiment. She smiles. Her subconscious is asking a series of questions based on your reaction. Are you flustered? If you quickly look away or seem panicked, it signals a lack of confidence. The composed man she thought she saw suddenly seems insecure. Are you dismissive? If you give a cold look or a smug smirk, you come across as arrogant or unapproachable. The warm presence she perceived is gone. Are you overly eager? If you immediately give an intense stare and make a beeline towards her, it can feel aggressive. It signals you're far too invested in her attention, which contradicts that post-game authenticity. So, what's the right response? What passes the test? It's simple. Warm, confident acknowledgement. You see the smile, you register it, and you return it with a genuine, relaxed smile of your own. You might add a slight, slow nod. That's it. This response is perfect because it says, I see you, I acknowledge your gesture, and I am comfortable with this. You aren't thrown off by her attention, nor are you desperate for it. You are simply meeting her social bid with calm, positive energy. What happens next depends on the context. By smiling back, you've passed the initial test. The ball is back in her court. She might just go back to what she was doing, content with the pleasant, fleeting connection. Or, if she's more interested, she might offer a second signal, holding your gaze a moment longer, or maybe looking back again after a moment. The key is not to force it. The power is in the subtlety. The smile was the question. Your warm, confident return smile was the answer. You have shown that you are the socially intelligent, confident man she thought you were. Finally, we have to address the simplest, most direct reason for that smile. Genuine, straightforward attraction. Our culture often acts like only youth is desirable. and many older men have internalized the belief that a younger woman's interest must be for some reason other than pure attraction. This is a limiting belief. Let's be clear. As we said, statistics show most people partner with someone near their own age. Over 90% of couples have an age gap of less than 10 years. However, a preference for older men is a legitimate preference for a notable minority of women. It's not an anomaly, and it's not always about seeking a daddy figure or a benefactor, as cynical stereotypes suggest. It's a real preference, just like some people prefer partners who are artistic or athletic. The qualities we've been discussing, confidence, stability, experience, maturity, aren't just abstract concepts. They are incredibly attractive traits. For many women, they are the definition of sexy. Think about the physical aspect. The silver fox is a cliché for a reason. A man with some salt and pepper in his hair, a few lines on his face, and a classic style can be exceptionally handsome. He isn't trying to look 22, and that's precisely why he's attractive. He owns his age. He projects a masculinity that is seasoned and established, not boyish. Beyond the physical, it's the total package. Attraction is multifaceted. It's how he carries himself, the deeper tone of his voice, the intelligence in his eyes, the calm way he commands space. All of these combine into a powerful attractive force. For a woman who values substance over surface, a man who has built a life and knows who he is, can be far more compelling than a man who just has youthful energy. She may have dated men her own age and found them lacking in direction or depth. For her, an older man isn't a compromise, he's an upgrade. So, when that smile comes your way, you have to allow for the possibility that it is exactly what it looks like, a woman finding you attractive. To immediately dismiss it is, in a way, an insult to her judgment. It assumes she couldn't possibly be interested in you. You have to unlearn the narrative that your age is a disadvantage. In the eyes of some, it is your single greatest asset. That smile could be the simplest message of all. I like what I see. Believing that isn't arrogant. It's simply accepting a compliment and acknowledging your own value. Understanding the why is one thing. Now for the how. How do you separate a polite smile from a genuine signal? And what's the right way to respond? Part 1. How to read the smile. Not all smiles are the same, but remember, misinterpretation is common, so context is everything. First, look for a Duchenne smile. This is a genuine smile of joy. The key marker is that it involves the muscles around the eyes, creating crow's feet. A polite, social smile often just uses the mouth. Look at her eyes. If they're lit up and crinkled, the smile is more likely to be real. Second, consider the lingering gaze. A quick smile as you pass is just etiquette, but a signal of interest often lasts a second longer than necessary. Does she look away, then look back to see if you're still looking? That second look is a powerful signal. She's checking if the interest is mutual. Third, context is king. A smile from a flight attendant as you board a plane is her job. A smile from the barista is customer service. Filter out interactions where politeness is professionally required. But a smile from a woman across a cafe who has no reason to interact with you carries more weight. Always ask yourself, in this specific situation, is there any reason for her to smile at me other than her own choice? If you've read the signals and believe there's genuine interest, your response should be calm, confident, and low pressure. Step 1. The return smile and nod. As we said, your first move is always to return the smile warmly. Let it reach your own eyes. Pair it with a slight confident nod. This acknowledges her and validates the connection without pressure. Step 2. Maintain open body language. After the exchange, don't immediately cross your arms or turn away. Keep an open, relaxed posture. This non-verbally shows you're receptive to a conversation, if she wants one. Step 3. The verbal opener. Only if the context is right. This requires social intelligence. You don't always need to speak. Often, the shared smile is enough. But if the context feels right and she's given a secondary signal, you can try a low-pressure opener. The best ones are about your shared environment. Don't use a pickup line. Don't comment on her body. In a bookstore. That's a great author. Have you read his other work? In a coffee shop. Whatever you're having smells amazing. I'm stuck trying to decide. At a concert, they are fantastic live, aren't they? These are all low stakes. They are easy to respond to, but don't put her on the spot. If she gives a short answer and turns away, respect the signal. The interaction's over. If she engages and asks a question back, you've successfully turned a smile into a conversation. The theme here is authenticity. Be yourself. Be respectful. Approach it not with an agenda, but with simple human curiosity. So, let's bring it back to that simple moment. That smile from a younger woman that you've been conditioned to dismiss. We've explored the reasons behind it. It could be an admiration for the quiet confidence you've earned. It might be an attraction to the unshakable stability you project. It could be curiosity about your lived experience. Maybe it's a recognition of your authentic post-game mindset, or an appreciation for your emotional maturity. Or it might be a social test, or just a straightforward signal of genuine attraction. More often than not, it's probably a blend of these things. Here is the critical takeaway. Your age isn't a bug, it's a feature. It is not a liability. For many, it is your greatest asset. The qualities you've cultivated over decades, wisdom, calm, perspective, self-assurance, are precisely what many perceptive women are looking for. Stop misinterpreting these signals as meaningless. Stop telling yourself it's just politeness. While it often is, you're now equipped to look for the signs that it might be something more. Start seeing these moments as a reflection of the value you've built within yourself. The next time it happens, don't look away. Don't let your inner critic take over. See the smile, acknowledge it, and return it with the quiet confidence of a man who understands his own worth. Own it, because you've earned it. What are your thoughts on this? Have you had experiences where you dismissed a smile, only to wonder later? Share your story in the comments below. The experiences shared here help our entire community grow. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more insights on how to leverage your age and experience. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next